Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nyasha and I'm really sorry that I didn't post last week because I had a technical issue. I recorded a video and I ended up having to delete it, but hopefully this time I will not make the same mistake. And yeah, YouTubing is a journey and you learn as you go. So anyway, as you may have read from the title of the video, we're going to be talking about how to make your work unique, be it a collection, be it a single dress, or your brand. This is how you're going to make your fashion design work unique. Okay, so it's going to be a 3-part series. This is the first video and I've just taken the time to expand the points so that you really understand. So in this video we're going to be talking about the first and most important thing to make your work unique. It's choose an inspiration. You need to choose an inspiration. By definition, inspiration is the process of being mentally stimulated to do or feel something, especially to do something creative, or it's a sudden, brilliant, or timely idea. Okay, so why you need to use an inspiration? Do not take ideas straight from your head just like that. Okay, let me tell you why. As people, we're inspired by the things that we see mostly. Okay, so if you are just going to take stuff from your head, you see what everyone else is seeing, the way it is, the trends, the economic system, the social system. What you see is what I see. Where anyone who is in the same position as you is bound to be inspired by the same thing, is bound to see the same thing that you're saying. So if you don't choose an inspiration and just take stuff out of your head, you and the next person are most likely going to produce the same thing because you see the same thing, because you see and you're exposed to the same thing. We're exposed to the same internet. We see the same stuff over and over again. So while you're thinking this is a brilliant idea, you were inspired by something that has already inspired somebody else. So there's like thousands of people who are at the same place as you are, and they are going to that's how trends are created, and that's how trends become monotonous, because we think we're being inspired by something new when we're just being inspired by the same thing over and over again. Okay, so it takes someone who's bold to start something new, and then other people will come in, fit in the new trend that you have created. So you really need inspiration. Okay, so what you need to do with your inspiration: firstly, you need to research. Secondly, you need to tell a story. And lastly, you need to complement the story with colors. Okay, so research is going in depth, looking for information about that particular inspiration. If you say you're going to be inspired by a country, Zimbabwe, then you need to research about Zimbabwe. Don't just look at Zimbabwe at face value. It's African. Its neighbors are South Africa, in Zambia, Botswana, whatever. And we have a red, black, yellow, green, and white flag. That's what you see at face value. But if you research, you might find the history of Zimbabwe, the kind of people that you find in Zimbabwe, the economic, social, and political structure of Zimbabwe. When you research, you find deeper meaning, or you find reasons why Zimbabwe is where it is, or even its name. So now, instead of just looking at inspiration at face value, you now know deeper stuff, and that deeper stuff is what's going to help you find that's what's going to make your work unique, because it's not just what's on the surface, what everyone else is saying, but something that is deep and meaningful. Okay, and then second point, tell a story. Tell a story about your inspiration, or tell a story with your inspiration. When you just look at stuff and you take objects and you put them together, they don't make sense. They rarely make sense. And if you're trying to make a collection, you'll be troubled. You'll find some problems trying to put the pieces together. Okay, but if you tell a story, you can make more than one dress or more than one piece, and you can put them together because they tell a story. It's like putting together words and form a sentence than just taking together a bunch of words that might tell a story. it's different. They need to tell a story and you need to know what that story is. And also about telling a story. Telling a story means you have found you have found your own voice. There are so many times when, okay, so take two people, send them to town and bring them back after an hour. They've been together, make them spend the time together. Or just think about the time that you were with someone for a while. And when you were asked, what happened? What did you see? What did you do? You say it differently than the next person. As much as you saw the same things, you were together, but because you are now putting in your voice, you say it differently. Someone might say, and then somebody will be like, yellow bone, yo. It's already different. They have said the same point. We got that, but they said it differently. And because they say it differently, it makes it unique. Okay? So you need to tell a story. If you don't tell a story, you're just bound to, I don't know, come up with things that might just look like the next person's. But when you tell a story, you're putting your own voice into the inspiration. You're putting your own voice into the story. And you're telling it the way you want it to be heard and not what the next person wants it to be heard or what the story wants to be told like. Okay? And lastly, complement the story with colors. When you are telling the story, when you're telling a story, you introduce new colors. Your inspiration might have a specific group of colors. For example, Zimbabwe, if you take the flag, red, green, yellow, black, white. Those are the colors that you have. But when you're telling a story, there is a story to be told about whatever it is that you're talking about. Some other colors arise because you are telling a story. So now your color palette isn't only limited to what is seen on the inspiration. It's broadened by the story that you're trying to tell. Okay? Let's say you are being inspired by a rose and you want to tell a story of a rose. Okay? A rose has red petals and a green stem. But then if you're going to tell a story about the rose, you're going to mention how it was farmed on soil. Soil is brown, sometimes black or gray, right? So now you have those colors coming into play. So it's not just red and green anymore, but there's also brown, gray or black, right? And you can also talk about how the rose was planted in sunny weather. So now you also have the color of the sun. I don't know what the color is, but I would say off-white, yellow. So now you have off-white, yellow in a story that is being inspired by a rose. A rose is red and green and that's it. But when you're trying to tell a story, you now have yellow, brown, gray, black. You know, if you keep going, if you really try to tell a story, you can see more colors coming in. And now, because it's your story, it's your message, it has your colors, hence it's unique. It's different from what the next person is going to do. You get it? So if you don't tell a story, if you're just limited to whatever it is that you're just going to see on the inspiration, it's not going to matter because now it becomes almost obvious. So without trying to be unique, you might also not be creative because it's obvious. But when you research and you tell a story and you expand your color palette, you're being unique and you're not being obvious. So this is what we have for part 1 on inspiration. So part 2 is going to be the inspiration board. Now, don't be afraid to be part of the fashion industry. As much as it is diverse, as much as there's so many players who come from all walks of life, uniqueness is kind of hard to achieve because there's so many people. But because you want to be unique and you follow these steps, I'm sure you're gonna find something that's just going to set you different from the next person. So thank you for watching. Thank you for clicking on this video. Please, if you're new, welcome. Please subscribe to my channel. If you're an oldie, thank you for your support. Like this video, comment down below, comment what you think I'm saying wrong, what you think I'm doing wrong. Remember, I'm new to this and I would definitely want your input on how I can improve. But yeah, see you next week.